Finally, Jjk Sequel has recently confirmed that Jujutsu Kaisen will be getting additional manga content sometime in 2026. Now, before you click off the video, I need to come clean about something. Yes, the title and thumbnail are slightly very clickbait, and no, there's not going to be a whole new full-length sequel to JJK. However, Jjk Sequel and Shonen Jump did recently announce that 3 more Jujutsu Kaisen one-shots are currently in the early stages of production, with the first one set to release in 2026, probably around the same time that Season 3 is set to air. We do have some very limited information on what each of these one-shots are going to be about though, which is what we're going to discuss today because, oh my god, they look insane. And remember, JJK 0 was actually a manga one-shot too, and that thing had 4 pretty lengthy chapters as well as a very well fleshed out story. Not to mention the fact that MAPPA adapted it into a whole ass movie, so these new JJK one-shots may also mean we will get 3 new JJK movies, or at least some extra OVA episodes in true anime fashion, you know? And I know we were all hoping for a fully fledged sequel, but like, come on, this is definitely better than nothing. So without any further yap, let's start to break down what we know about each one-shot, starting with the first one. Okay, the first one-shot Jjk is making, which is set to release in 2026, is almost definitely gonna be the least action-packed one because it's about how Gojo raised Megumi to become a Jujutsu sorcerer following the events of Hidden Inventory. Despite being on the more wholesome and story-driven side, I reckon this one's gonna be everyone's favorite, since it's just more Gojo, and it's Gojo being a dad no less, even if his kid is Stinky Megumi. I mean, think about it, all of the TikToks and memes about Megumi threatening to summon Maharaga on Gojo as a fussy child might just become canon soon. Now, from what I've read, which isn't a lot because not a lot exists, it seems this will also be a 4-chapter manga and will be structured like an anthology. Basically, for those of you who are dumb as shit, an anthology is a collection of stories. Actually, it's a collection of poems, but oh, it doesn't matter. Each chapter will supposedly be a different short story showing how Megumi comes to tame each of his 10 shadows with Gojo's guidance. And that's all the information we have. Like, that's literally it. We haven't even gotten an illustration or anything. It doesn't seem like anything crazy will happen, and Gojo will be there, so there won't be any insanely strong villain to worry about. It looks like it's going to be very character-focused, and with any luck, it should add some much-needed substance to Gojo and Megumi's complex relationship. It's also important to remember that Gojo will also grow as a person during this, because 19-year-old Gojo and 29-year-old Gojo are very different people. I do think it'll be pretty cool seeing how Kid Megumi actually goes about taming the serpent, Yue, and his toads. It could be really fun. Maybe we will even learn more about the fight between that 6 Eyes Limitless user and the 10 Shadows user back in the Edo era. Who knows? Anyway, that's all I have on the first one-shot, but don't worry because in true Jjk fashion, we have even less information about the other 2. Okay, all we have to go on for the second one-shot is a very dodgy translation, which reads something like, "The Man of Many Faces." My absolutely monstrous brain has managed to come to the conclusion that the man in question is likely Kenjaku, which opens a range of possibilities for what this story could be. The absolute worst possible option is that it's actually a boring-ass story following Takaba and Pseudo-Kenjaku on their quest for comedy. Please God, no. The absolute best option, in my opinion, would be another 4-chapter anthology where we follow Kenjaku on his 1,000-year voyage across time. Maybe chapter 1 could be a story from him in the Heian era, perhaps showing how he asked Uro, Yorozu, and Sukuna to be Culling Game players, and the next 3 chapters could then show key moments in Kenjaku's voyage through time, each with a different face and maybe a different technique to show off. I hope it's not about Noritoshi Kamo and the creation of the curse wombs though, because we do kind of already know the story behind that. Seeing him witness or even get involved in massive Jujutsu events throughout history would be really cool to see. For example, the fight between the Gojo and Zenin clan heads that resulted in a Maharaga massacre. Or Jjk could create a completely new story for Kenjaku to be a part of in a time period we've never seen, with characters we've never heard of, with techniques that we've never seen or heard of. The possibilities are definitely endless. But again, we don't even know if the story will be about this at all. It's literally just my speculation. All of the information we have is just that one dodgy translation, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. Unlike this one though, the final one-shot Jjk plans to make does actually have a much more clear direction. At least, I think it does. Now, the final one-shot also has a dodgy translation, but it was also accompanied with an illustration. And I suspect the reason this one actually gets an image with it is because it concerns the new and old main characters of Yuji and Yuta, as you can see. I mean, it does make sense that the final bit of manga material Jjk wants to make for Jujutsu Kaisen would be a story involving his two main characters and the two characters who sit atop of the sorcery world at the end of the story. And the statement or title or whatever it is that we got for this one shot also reads, "The Strongest." Now, this shouldn't really come as a surprise to anyone, since at the end of the story it's blatantly obvious that Yuji and Yuta are the strongest, but it's nice of Jjk to confirm it for those disgusting individuals who still think Hikari is relevant. And that's it though. That's literally all we have. Since we know that Yuji ends up with Ozawa and Yuta becomes acting Gojo clan head while also starting a family with Maki, I think it's safe to say that this story will actually take place during these events. Yuta and Yuji also never interacted before the main story, so this will almost definitely take place after Jujutsu Kaisen's main kind of thing. So yeah, I guess it could be a mini sequel. Assuming it's another 4-chapter one-shot, we may actually see them team up at the end of the story to do something like clear the thousands of curses out of Shibuya or hunt down the remaining Culling Game players. One alternative option though is that it's a training time skip story, which honestly would be so cool. I think this could even be the most likely option since it seems to be titled The Strongest, and the time skip is literally when the current strongest, Gojo, helps Yuji and Yuta to become the next strongest. I would much rather it be this than a post-JJK story with no real significance other than being cool. But hey, that's just me. I mean, either way, the Yuji Yuta team up was still my favorite part of the whole Shinjuku raid, bar Gojo vs Sukuna, so seeing them team up together in another story would be so magical. Okay, yeah, that's literally all we know about the new JJK one-shots, and it's really not a lot. Pretty much everything I've mentioned is just my speculation, because all we have is some weirdly translated titles and a single image. But the very fact that we are getting more Jujutsu Kaisen manga material in the form of these one-shots means that the Jujutsu Kaisen anime might not actually be over after season 4, because all of these stories have the potential to be turned into movies, additional OVA episodes, or even both. So at the very least, this means Jujutsu Kaisen won't be truly done for another 5 to 6 years. Although we still need confirmation that any of these stories will even get an adaptation in the first place. And then of course okay, do you know what? I'm just kind of tired of doing this now and I'm starting to feel bad. I doubt anyone with half a brain has made it this far into the video, but on the off chance you have, may I remind you, it's the 1st of April. Yeah, honestly, if you made it all the way through this video while believing every word I said, then I don't know. Should I be more worried about, like, you being dumb or me being a scarily good liar? I have no idea. But yeah, sorry, there's no more Jujutsu Kaisen, it's just an April Fool's video, but hey, why don't you all go into the comments and then pretend like I was being serious? You know, for shits and giggles. Anyway, thanks for watching, I guess. I'm very sorry. Bye.